Setting up dev environment. Let's see how we can set up the development environment for ASP.NET MVC 5 development. So guys, make sure you have the Windows operating system, or you must have the Windows PC. So on your PC, you must have at least Windows 7 Service Pack 1. If you have Windows 8, Windows 10, then that's good. But the minimum requirement is here. You should have at least Windows 7 Service Pack 1. That is an IDE. We will use here Visual Studio. So Visual Studio can have Visual Studio 2013 or higher. If you have Visual Studio 2015, if you have Visual Studio 2017, that's good. And in my hands-on program, I will use Visual Studio 2017 on Windows 10. So if you have the Windows 10 and the Visual Studio 2017, so that will be the very good. And for the SQL Server, you must have at least SQL Server 2008 R2. If you have the SQL Server 2012, 2016 and 2017, because the latest edition of the SQL Server is 2017. So this is the minimum requirement for the Windows, for the IDE, for the SQL Server. And all these you can download from the Microsoft official website for the Windows, for the Visual Studio, for the SQL Server. Let me show the way which edition of the SQL Server and which edition of the Visual Studio you have to download. So make sure you have the Windows machine already with Windows. And here I'm just creating a project. So let me create a project for MVC 5. So we have the web application, and this is the option here for ASP.NET web application. You have to select. Then here you have to specify the location where you are going to store the code. Let's say I'm using the select the desktop. Then specify it at the here. This is specified application name. Let's say web app. This is a framework you can use here like 4.5, 4.6, 4.7. So I'm using here 4.5. For others, you have to download the .NET framework separately. But generally, people have the 4.5 on the machine. So when you will download the Visual Studio 17 and when you will install it, so all those framework you will have automatically. But for the 4.7, you have to download separately. Now just click on the OK button. And here these are the available templates you can use for creating the various types of application here. So apart from the empty template, all are the internet templates for creating the web form application, MVC application, web API, single page, Azure API app, and Azure mobile app. So these are the predefined standard way for creating the different types of application. So what other things are required for developing an internet-based application? So all the templates will have. But in the empty one, we have only necessary settings to develop a simple ASP.NET MVC application. And I always start with the empty template because all other things we will include ourselves when the things would be required. So when the entity framework would be required, I will add it by myself. When the web API will be required, I will add it. When other things are required, we will add. So here I'm just going to start with empty, then MVC. All templates are not for ASP.NET MVC. We have the templates for web form application as well. We have the template for web API, and we have the template for this as well. So let's start with the empty template, then click on the OK button. It will create an empty ASP.NET MVC application with all the basic settings which are required to run a application. And here what I'm doing here, if you will see here, these are the available, or you can say this is the generated code by the Visual Studio itself here for our ASP.NET MVC application. So if you will see, we have the app_data folder. So this folder you can use for putting your database file at the project level. So generally in the real application, we never use the app_data because we have the separate server for managing the database. But if you are developing a POC or like an application, in that case you can use app_data. And even if you remember your college days, if you have used the .NET for your industrial project, so there we have used app_data file folder. And then we have app_start folder. This folder is available from MVC 3. So in app_start folder, we mention the configuration file. So actually this folder is available from MVC 4. It was not available in MVC 3. So in MVC 4, whatever the configuration are related to the application startup. So all the configuration file related to the application startup we can define here. So you can see here we have a route config file. So in the route config file, we have a method register routes. So in the register routes, you can see we have a by default routes here. And even to run your ASP.NET MVC application, you must have at least one route. If you don't have a route here, you cannot serve your application pages. In MVC3, the same methods you will find in your global.asx. So if you have the project of MVC3, the same information you can find out in global.asx. And whatever the configuration setting you define in app_start folder, it is mandatory to call here. If you will not call here, that setting will not be applicable globally. And guys, the application_start method is going to be executed only one time when you will start the project. So when you will start the project, this is the method is going to be executed only one time. So what are the setting you want to apply across the application, just call here. So apart from the route config file, you can add other configuration file as well. Like we have a bundle config, we have like filter config. So all these files we will add in upcoming session. So as we implement the things into a project. So right now the route config is sufficient here. Controllers folder is empty, models folder is empty. In the views folder, we have a web.config file. So role of this view folder web.config file is it is having the information about whatever the commonly used namespaces we are planning to use on our view pages, and whatever the view engine we are using on the view pages, that setting is available. So we are using Razor view engine. So Razor view engine setting is available here. So this web.config role is to define the folder specific setting, and this web.config setting will be applicable only to this folder. But if you will see, there is a one more web.config at the root label. So root label web.config setting will be applicable to each and every folder in your application. And in the root level web.config, we define the settings which we can use across the application, like modules, handler, database connection string, app setting. So these are the things generally we define at the root level web.config. There is a one more file that is a packages.config. So this file is having the information about which version of MVC, Razor, web pages, entity framework, web API you are using. So you can see here we are using MVC 5.2.4 version and Razor 3.2.4 version. So Razor version is 3 because it was introduced with MVC 3. In MVC 1 and in MVC 2, we don't have the Razor syntax. MVC 1 and MVC 2 are based upon the web form syntaxes. So that's why it is having the 3.x version, not the 5.x. So guys, here it's about the folder structure. So let me create my first controller. So you have to just do right click on the controllers folder, and here we have the option for adding a controller, and these are the available the templates you can use for code generation purpose. So I said to you, without writing a single line of code, I can perform the CRUD operation here using entity framework. So if you will select this option, it will write the code for create, read, update, delete, and list operations with the help of entity framework. So you don't need to write a single line of code. Your CRUD operation would be ready. But I suggest you should start from MT1 when you will have the confidence, like when you will have the complete idea of MVC and entity framework, then you can use this template. So initially, I'm not using this template. I will start everything from MT1 so that you will know like what are the changes, what are the things you have to do by yourself. So these are the scaffolding template. And guys, scaffolding is a code generation technique. And nowadays, scaffolding is everywhere. If you're using Angular, if you're using React, if you're using Vue, if you're using MVC, PHP, everywhere you will find the scaffolding. So scaffolding is a code generation technique based upon the input. The scaffolding generate the code for us. So here I'm just using the MT1. Then click on that button. Now here it is suggesting. Now it is asking for the controller name. So I can mention my controller name as home. And every time when you are defining a controller in MVC, so that class name must have the controller word as suffix. It is a rule in the ASP.NET MVC framework. But this controller word never be counted in the name. We say always home for the home controller. So everywhere when there is a requirement to pass the controller name, I will pass only home. I will not pass home controller. So I'm just adding a home controller. And here you might be thinking why I'm creating the home controller. Why I'm not creating the default product. You can create it with any name, but if you will look into the route config file, in the route config file, we have the default values for our controller. And those default values are home and the index. So that's why generally when you will see any sample, the default controller they add with the name home. So you can see it is using scaffolding. So in the route config file, if you will see, these are the default values for my controller. So if you don't have the controller name as home, you can change the default value here, and it is serving as the home page for our application. So initially when you will start the application, so we start like domain.com only. We never pass the controller name, we never pass the action name. So how it is going to serve our application home page? By using these default values, it is going to serve our application home page. So that's why here home action index. So that's why I've given my controller name as home, but it's up to you, can give one different as well. Now it's automatically created this index section. Now for this index section, we have to create a view file, because there is always a relation between the action and view if you want to serve a page in MVC. So just do right click here. We have the option for adding a view, add view. This is the view name and this is a template here. So as a template, again, I'm using the empty, but you can use create, delete, detail template. So these are for the code generation, which you will, and these option will save your development time. So I'm just using empty one. And here, this is for defining the master page. So here the master page is as layout. So layout means here master page. So if you want to define a consistent look and feel, or like you can see the consistent layout for your application. So we have to create a layout. So layout will have the header section, footer, right sidebar. It's up to you how you want to design your application layout. So it will automatically generate the layout when I will click on the add button, because first time we are doing the things. So again, it is using scaffolding. It is installing all the missing packages as well. So what were the missing packages? So if you will see in the package.config file, we don't have the package for Bootstrap and jQuery. These are added by now when I have added the view. So these are the missing packages it's added. So these are the front end packages, because jQuery and the Bootstrap we use on the front end, and MVC, Razor, web pages we use in the back end, means on the server side. So these are server side packages and these are the front end packages here. So all the packages we are downloading here using the NuGet. So NuGet is a package manager console which we can use with the .NET application for downloading the server packages like Entity Framework, Web API, MVC, Razor, Web Pages, XUnit, MS Test, whatever the framework you are using with .NET. And even we can download the client-side packages as well, like AngularJS, Bootstrap, jQuery, Knockout.js, and others we have. So there is only one package manager, that is NuGet. And there is an official website for NuGet as well. So as we have npmjs.com, same way we have NuGet.org. And here you can find out the information about all the .NET packages. You can see, just make a search and find out the information. So if you will see, it's created a content folder with all the CSS file. It's created a script folder with all the JS file. So you can see we have Bootstrap JS, jQuery, Modernizer. So these are the JS file it's created here. And even if you will see, it's created a index file within the home folder. So whatever the controller name we have, with the same name, we have a folder in the views, but the folder name might be different. But this is the default mapping. So by default, whatever the controller name we have with the same name, it will look for the folder in views. And whatever the action name we have in the controller with the same name, it will look for a file. So these are the default settings in the ASP.NET MVC framework. So generally, what we do, whatever the other controller name we have, with the same name we define the folder, with the same name we define the file as well. And the benefit of defining with this name, there is option here, go to view. I can directly jump to that view. But if your folder name is different, if your file name is different, you have to go there manually. So you have to just look into the view folder and just open that file manually. In that case, you cannot use the option go to view. I hope it makes sense now. I don't know guys, in the shared folder, we put all the commonly used files. Let's say master pages, common error page, like partial view. So here we add the commonly used files in our application. So you can see there is a layout page containing the menu. This is the menu here. As per the bootstrap 3, we have the render body method. And this render body method is just like content placeholder. We have MVC, sorry, in web form. So here it is going to render the content of the page based upon the routing. And these are the jQuery and bootstrap references. And there is a one more file that is underscore view start. This file we have embedded at a view folder label. And in this file, we have just mentioned the layout value. And the layout value, we have just mentioned the path. So this underscore view start file is actually serving the default layout page, or you can see the master page for our application. So default master page it is serving here in this underscore view start file. And here you can write the condition to serve the different layout page based upon the condition here. So now just run the application and see how it is serving our application home page. So every time when you will run the application, so this app underscore star route config register route methods we have defined in this global.asx file. So on the startup of the application, these routes is going to be registered here. So when you will try to request the domain.com, so it will serve the page as per this default value, because here the default value for controller and action is home and index. So that's why when you will open the application first time, it automatically serve the home controller index section, and the index section is returning the file index.css. So you can see here I'm getting the index as an action. So you can check we have the home index.cshtml and we have this index. So here you can mention the paragraph, the div. It's up to you what you want to mention here. So what I can do here, I can mention here, let's say I'm adding a div. This is my home page I'm mentioning. So now just save and reload. You can see I'm getting the output.